Hello guys, this is an Intimidator truck series, Mahindra mPact UTV. It has a diesel engine, 3-cylinder Kohler engine. I think it's about 900 and something cc's, but it's labeled as a 1000 cc. It's a high 900. Pretty good sized UTV. If I park it next to the car, you'll be surprised. It's actually about the same size, maybe not the same width as a regular car, pretty close to that. These aluminum sides fold down to have a flat bed surface, and you have this diamond plated steel on here. The payload capacity is quite good. I don't have the figures offhand, but I think it's on this label right here. Let me give you the exact numbers. And you can see it says 1,200 kilograms or 1,200 pounds. And the maximum load capacity is 1,500 or 1,600 pounds. And 1,600 pounds. So that's quite substantial. It's almost approaching the load capacity for the payload for the bed. It's almost approaching that of, I think, some of the full-size pickup trucks like the F-150s or even the Toyota Tundras, which is amazing. So the issue I'm having here today is that when I go to start the UTV, the starter spins, but it doesn't spin the engine, which means that there's an issue with the Bendix. It's not bringing the wheel all the way forward to where it can start. And I'll have to take off this starter and figure out what exactly is going on. So the one issue you would have with this UTV is that to get access to any of the components, if you have to work on them, is quite hard. The bed doesn't tilt, but some of the ones which don't have the long bed, which are the non-truck series, you can actually tilt the bed and work on them. I don't know if they have any aftermarket product that you can use to have the bed tilt up and give you easier access to the engine. Right now, the only way you can access the engine is through this plate right here. So that's the engine, the diesel engine I talked about. It's from Kohler. And let's look at the size. It's not immediately, I can't see it immediately, but you can see the engine model there. All right, enough about the engine. So yeah, basically that's what I will be doing in a few minutes here. I'll try to start it. Usually the first couple of starts it will be okay, and then later on you just hear the starter spin without the Bendix, the fork of the Bendix pushing the starter to engage the flywheel. All right, let's give it a shot. So the way you warm the plugs on this one, you just crank it, wait for a few moments. I haven't driven this around in a while, so it's kind of dusty in here. All right, that should be good. Crank it now. And there you can hear it. The Bendix disengages. Yeah, that's the problem I have. So I will just disconnect everything, lube the Bendix, check the connections, make sure everything is good. It gets annoying after a while. Alright, I'll be back when I get it started. So I got it started. I'll just wait a few moments here for it to warm up to where it can idle, and then I'll take it over to the shop. Woo, everything is shaking. Hi. Reverse. What's going on? Okay. All right. Okay, so we're here. Start first with disconnecting the battery and then go from there. See you guys later. So I kind of realized there might be some kind of backing plate on this starter, and that backing plate might be covered in this ventilation box for the Intimidator. So just to play it safe, I am going to dismantle this side. That way I can see exactly what I am doing. This is just to show you guys how everything is arranged here. There's a big open space down here, and then this is how the box is constructed, and you have these little tabs which you see right here, that you have one on each side, and these hold the box so that it doesn't come crashing into the cab. And then you have, of course, a little bolt on the frame that holds the box in place. So that's what the arrangement looks like. I'll step onto the other side and you guys can take a look. The bed is not very heavy, so one guy can definitely do that. This is the exhaust for the clutch. You can see the clutch in there. That's a newer one. The old clutch I have it there. So yeah, getting the bed off, not too difficult, just a little tedious if you're doing it by yourself. Even with the help of the bobcat, I still had some difficulty. So this is what I'm doing right now. The battery I upgraded. I got a bigger battery, so I'll have to also secure that battery in place. I got some hardware which I will use to secure the bigger battery. Alright guys, so I have taken out the fan shroud, and this is what the clutches look like. And there you have the belt number, and apparently there's a bolt, or there's a nut holding that second starter bolt in. So you can see the nut right there below. What you have on your screen right now is hidden there, so I'll have to hold that inside and make sure I get it fixed. So those are the rollers that will usually fail on these. When those rollers fail, then your UTV will be stuck in gear and won't be able to change. So those plastic rollers that you see looking nice and clean there, this is a newer clutch with very low miles. Those are the parts that fail, and when they fail, your UTV will be able to change gear. So the screws, the bolts holding those are 8mm. There's quite a few of them all the way around. There's a gasket, and that keeps water out from the clutch, and you know, when it gets wet, then it starts slipping. All right, I'll be back here shortly. All right, so here we have the starter. It has been removed, and if I put it down, you can see that's where you have the Bendix. So when you start the engine, the Bendix, which is right here, will push this ring, and this ring is supposed to slide on here all the way to get the engine engaged. So what's happening is it's binding, it's not sliding easily, and you can see how dry this is. So what I will do today, I will just lubricate, put some oil, and that should hopefully solve the problem of the binding. All right, so that's what I will be doing, and hopefully it solves my problem. And if you wanted like a part number, that's all what I could find. It just says R7 at the back. Alright guys, so back, I got everything sorted out. The Bendix itself, where you have the race, needed some carb cleaner, and then where you had the slide, where it slides to engage the flywheel, I had to just put some grease on there. Now it works like a charm. But there's an issue here with the routing of some of these hoses. You can see that's the thermostat housing right there, and then you have the hoses leaving, and they are very, very close to the exhaust. And right now I had just one zip tie holding up the hose. Now I added a second zip tie, the black one, and a third one right there. So at some point in the future, I will have to come back and reroute all of these so that everything is well protected. Also, you have the fuel lines right there. There's this pan which was removed by my body. I will have to put it back. The black belly pan right there. So I wouldn't drive it too much like this, otherwise you risk snagging those fuel lines somewhere, breaking them. So they run like that and into the fuel tank, which is right here. So very simple machine, well put together, and yeah, that's all what holds it in place. It's well built. Also, you can see the shaft. That's the drive shaft, and you see the drive shaft here also. It has grease points where you have the CV joints there, CV joints. So I think while I have this exposed, I might just go ahead and and grease it up. It hasn't got a lot of miles though, that I can tell you. This Intimidator, it doesn't have many miles. It's just that it's had a hard life. So yeah, those are the basic things I would intend to do. Also, I put a larger battery, as you can see. The one I had on there was having a lot of difficulties cranking this diesel engine. So all right, that's where we're at. Hello guys, so everything has been completed, and cleaning up that Bendix with brake cleaner and then lubricating the spline on which the Bendix slides seemed to have solved my problem. So now I no longer have the hard starting issue. So let me illustrate to you guys. And it starts right up, first time, every time. So part of the issue I was having was having to fight with the starter every time I had to use the UTV. So it made me not want to burn up the starter. It was an easy fix. I just needed to move the box, and then after moving the box, I had to open up the shroud that covers the CV belt, the transmission belt, primary and secondary, and then I used carb cleaner to clean where you have the Bendix bearing, and also the shaft over which the Bendix slides to engage the flywheel. The other thing I did was on the, let me turn this off, it's quite noisy. Okay, the other thing I did, you can tell in the process I killed my battery. So the other thing I did, you see that wheel right there? So I put some lube on there, on the one that's on the Intimidator. You can see that little wheel that it's cracked. So I just put some lube on there, and hopefully it doesn't degrade the plastic. That just helps it spin freely, and then it can spin freely and go down these ramps much easily. So I drove around, and it actually seems to be picking up speed so much more better. I don't know if that is an actual issue, but if your Intimidator is not picking up speed, that is something you might want to consider checking out. For me, it worked out pretty good. I had the Bobcat out to help me pick up this box, but it turned out the box wasn't that hard to pick up. Replacing the box, I could pick up the tail end by myself. That's the heavier part, where you have this little headache rack. That makes it a bit heavier. Otherwise, the box itself on this part, it's quite light, and I was able to pick it up, and I had it partially off the bed, and I could slide it easily back on there all by myself. The other mods I did, it's kind of hard to see that now, but for the battery, I made a new holder. Here's the old one. The reason I changed it, the old battery was just it was a joke for this diesel engine. If you cranked it 3-4 times, the battery will go dead. So I got a much bigger battery, went to my metal parts guy, and they cut me a little strip of metal, which I used a vise, and then I could form it to what I needed, and that's what I applied on there. I drilled 2 holes and then bent the little strip of metal to fit the frame on there. Also, where you have the battery tray, you have tabs on each side, so I used a hammer to level out the one that's inboard. That way I could fit this much bigger battery. It's actually a marine battery. You can't see that now. I might show it tomorrow, but it's a much bigger battery, and it's marine grade, so should be able to sit for a few days without going dead. Those are the few things I did, and yeah. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.